So there's one more UMPC I want to show you guys. The last one, I promise. And it's a pretty rare one. This is the Vulcan Flipstart. And I've been looking for this UMPC for a very long time, and I finally found one on eBay. So it's pretty rare. I'll show you guys. The specs are Pentium M processor, 1.1 gigahertz, and 512 megabytes of RAM, which is very small. That's the weakness of this PC. I think the biggest weakness is that you cannot upgrade the RAM at all. At least the Okio has 1 gig, and the Sony Vaio has 1 gig, but the Vulcan Flipstart only has 512 megs, which is not a lot. That's why I can only run Windows XP. But the interesting thing about this UMPC is it has a little small screen up here, kind of like Windows Slideshow, but it basically just shows some calendar and email stuff up there. And it's a clamshell. Yeah, it's kind of like this mini laptop form factor here, which is different than the sliding form factor of the Okio and the Vaio UX. It's got a clamshell form factor, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, here it has a Pentium M processor, which is actually more powerful than Intel Atom. And so the processor itself isn't bad. I just think the RAM is limiting. 30 gigabyte hard drive right here, and came out in 2007, so around the same time as these guys too. I think this was 2006, 2007. And yeah, other than that, runs Windows XP, and a little webcam down here, 5.6-inch screen, weighs pretty hefty. Let's see, so you got your mouse cursor right here, another touchpad. In addition to this mouse track point nub here, you have a touchpad, so you have 2 different ways to use a mouse. Pretty cool. Power button right here. Control Alt Delete has its own button. That's pretty interesting. Then you have your up down, which also doubles as your home and page up, page down buttons. Left and right click right there, and a full-size QWERTY keyboard. Pretty cool. Has some interesting other stuff here as well, which is like zoom, switch windows, desktop. Interesting, and some media playback buttons down there. But yeah, weighs about 1.7, 1.8 pounds with the extended battery, I think. So it's definitely not light. It's not as light as the Okio or Sony Vaio UX. So definitely keep that in mind. It's let's see the ports we have. We have a play, pause, and forward and backwards. Here, rewind and fast forward buttons right on the player, right on the laptop itself. Interesting. This is the volume slider, I'm guessing, and this unmarked button here. Not sure what that does. Headphone jack on the back, dock connector, AC adapter jack, USB port, just one. On the side here, nothing. And on the back, no, we've seen the back. Okay, that's it actually. No micro SD card slot, no fingerprint reader. Kind of disappointing. I will show you guys the dock connector here. Not as good as the dock connector on these guys though. Alright, so if you put in the dock connector here, okay, what do we get? We have an extra VGA port, DC in. This is a, what is this, surround port or something? It's something for audio. Haven't really used that. Ethernet, full size, 2 USB ports. So yeah, kind of underwhelming in terms of ports, but what can you do? Flipstart is still one of the rarest. I think it took me a long time. I was scouring eBay for months and months before I could find this one. And it's one of the more, I think, well-known UMPCs that came out. Alright guys, and there's something else I want to show you guys about the Vulcan Flipstart. And that is, after playing around with it for a little bit, it's running Windows XP, as you can see here. I found that this makes a pretty decent DOS game playing machine, and the clamshell form factor and the fact that the keyboard is situated pretty nicely here on the where your thumbs can access it when you're holding it up like this makes it a pretty decent DOS playing machine, especially the Control, Alt, Shift, and Space keys are easily reachable when you're holding it like this. These are the most used keys in DOS games. So yeah, compared to the Open Pandora, which is also good at playing DOS games, this one feels, this is more of a hefty machine, but of course it can do more because it runs Windows. So let's go ahead and fire up a command prompt here so I can show you guys some DOS games, and this isn't DOS box, so it's not going to emulate the Sound Blaster speakers or anything, but for PC speakers it'll work, obviously. So let's do this. And this keyboard is actually pretty nice. I don't have a problem, any issue typing on this keyboard. This might be one of the best UMPC keyboards I've ever used. And I've used a bunch, like the HTC Shift, the Samsung Q1 with a split keyboard, then the OQO, the Sony Vaio UX was just pretty horrible. Yeah, I've used a bunch of UMPC keyboards, but I think the Flipstart might be my favorite so far, just because of the way it comfortably curves into your hand, almost when you're holding this. So when Paul Allen and his company Vulcan designed this PC, they certainly focused a lot on the attention on the keyboard layout, which is pretty decent. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go here. Alright, what should we play? Let's try a game that supports PC speakers and not Sound Blaster, like Commander Keen. Let's try that one. Or actually, Keen 4. Keen 1 looks a bit outdated. Here we go. Whoops. Goes full screen. Nice. It's 5.6-inch screen. Is pretty nice for viewing DOS games. I think it's like the perfect screen size for playing DOS games and stuff. Let's consider a PC speaker here. That's it. There we go. So yeah, the directional buttons are up here, which is, you know, it's not as if it's down here it's a little bit more preferable, but up here is fine. And then it's pretty decently comfortable actually. Control buttons up here, all button, spacebar, all your usual DOS, most commonly used DOS buttons, shift. That's all right there. Actually, it's not bad. Yeah. So I don't feel very uncomfortable playing this. It's actually not a bad layout for playing DOS games. Yay, beat that level. What's this one now? Can't swim. Alright. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Anyways, that's Commander Keen. Let's try something else. One of my favorites is Blake Stone. I always play that game. So let's try that one. Blake bstone.bat. Switch the Oh, okay, it's already in Sound Blaster mode, I think. Yep. Disney sound source. Interesting. I wonder what is Disney sound source. I've never seen that before. Pretty smooth. It runs pretty smoothly. I would say this runs even more smoothly than DOSBox. If you guys have seen my video about Open Pandora and running DOS games on that and running this game particularly on that device, this actually runs better. I know this is like command and it's not DOSBox, so technically this DOSBox should be emulating better, but for this game, Blake Stone, it's actually better running on here. It's interesting. Just using the command prompt. Yeah, really smooth. A lot better than the one I ran on the Pandora using DOSBox. I wish it had Sound Blaster, obviously, but at least as far as frame rates and that are concerned, this looks better. Come on. There we go. I'm glad it keeps the awesome sound effects, even though I'm on PC speaker. Intruder! Medic! I'll show you a medic. Yep.
Intruder! Guard!
Yep. So fast. Where are you, robot? No, you're here. Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, that's Blake Stone on the Vulcan Flipstart, running on command prompt from Windows XP. Alright, what other game should I do? Maybe Jazz Jackrabbit? Actually, that game is better with AdLib. Bash. Let's try Monster Bash. This is another game that doesn't work that well in command prompt. I mean, this is another game that doesn't work that well in DOSBox. Actually, it just runs very slowly in DOSBox. So let's see on command prompt. If it runs better. Okay, game settings. PC speaker, please. Okay. And wow, yeah, this runs better than on DOSBox. On DOSBox, Monster Bash, for some reason for me, it runs very slowly, and it's pretty much unplayable if I run it in DOSBox. But on command prompt, it seems to be pretty good, surprisingly. Yeah, very surprisingly. Okay. So I guess for some games, command prompt actually emulates it better than DOSBox. Come on, more. There we go. So I can finally play Monster Bash again. Yeah, well, this PC speaker leaves a lot to be desired, but at least the gameplay is more smooth. Oh. I did a Let's Play video of this game, and it's quite brutal. I actually beat this version when I was a kid, but going back to it as an adult, it's pretty difficult. Especially playing on the harder settings. Oh no, okay. Alright, I'm just gonna stop right there. This game might be taking a long time. But anyways, I just want to show you guys that DOS games on this machine runs pretty well on the Vulcan Flipstart. I mean, technically, of course, it's capable. It's not that powerful of a computer. Only has 512 megs of RAM and a 1.1 gigahertz Pentium M processor, but that's obviously powerful enough for DOS games. So, and other early PC games like 90s PC games and stuff. So, for that, it's pretty good, and controls pretty well. But what makes it really good is that the keyboard layout is actually pretty good for this kind of gaming. So you have nice curved keys and stuff. So usually I just play like this, and then press buttons like this and stuff. It's pretty decent. I can do it for a while, and it's 2 pounds. So while it's not that light, it's not that heavy either. So I can do it for an extended period of time. I think it's fine, especially if you don't have the extended battery. It can be a bit lighter than that. So yeah, I guess I found a really good UMPC for playing DOS games that's better than, in my opinion, than every other UMPC except for the Open Pandora, because that one was designed to emulate stuff. So yeah, if you guys like DOS games and you guys like small computers, and if you can find one of these on eBay, then please check it out. Yeah. So yeah, again, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Vulcan Flipstart, which runs Windows XP and runs a lot of the early 2000s, 90s stuff pretty well, and it's pretty portable, obviously, being a UMPC. Came out in 2007, made by Paul Allen and his company Vulcan, and can't seem to get this little screen working here. Not sure what that pulls from. I think it's like Outlook or something. Vulcan Flipstart, on a full charge, it lasts about 2 to 3 hours. If you have the extended battery, possibly 4 or 5. So in terms of battery life, it's not as good as modern PCs because these are running very power inefficient processors back then. These aren't core processors or Haswell processors, which really increase battery life. So that's a little bit disappointing, but hey, that's pretty par for the course if you're talking about early 2000s, mid 2000s stuff. So that's still better than a lot of the other stuff that the other PCs that came out back then, which only lasted like 2 hours. So yeah, you have to take the context of the times. And I really hope they make a modern UMPC with a Core M processor. Like, just give me this format, a PC that's like this, except runs a Core M processor, has all the updated chipsets and stuff, and more RAM and stuff, and I would definitely buy it. I mean, I don't know how many other people would, but I definitely would, because this kind of form factor is much appreciated for us retro gamers and stuff. So yeah, just wanted to add that little closing comment. Wow, I just turned this thing off, and this starts showing after when you turn it off. It's interesting. Well, at the time you turn it off, it shows something info games and Vulcan Flipstart on it. I just found that interesting. And this thing is actually removable. I'm not sure why it's you can pull it back like this. And hello, little mirror here. Alright, and can pull this back like this. I'm not sure why that's there, but anyways, I got it working, but only when it shuts down, unfortunately. So yeah, please subscribe if you like my videos, comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to show you guys the Vulcan Flipstart again. I know I've done some videos on this device already, but I really want to show you guys the true capabilities of this UMPC. So the thing I really like about this UMPC compared to the other UMPCs I own is how good it is at playing games, and specifically DOS games and Windows games. So I'll show you guys. This is the layout of the device, and the layout is really what makes this device pretty ideal for playing Windows games. The reason why is because I uploaded a video already showing some DOS games played on this device, and I mentioned how the keyboard layout, especially the location of the Control, Alt, Space, and Shift keys relative to the mouse and the trackpad here, makes it pretty comfortable to use when you're playing it like this. So usually you'd be holding it like this, using your thumb to control these buttons right here, and usually DOS games use like Control, Alt, Space, Shift, Enter, these kind of buttons as well. So the device layout is pretty good, pretty ideal for playing DOS games. It's arranged in such a way that it makes it pretty comfortable to do that. Compared to other UMPCs, like I've done the Sony Vaio UX, the buttons are too flat to be doing that. The OKO Model 2 as well could be, but it's still not as ideal as a Vulcan Flipstart. So this little gadget from 2007, I found out of all my UMPCs is the most ideal for Windows, retro Windows gaming basically. And then you have the two mouse buttons right here, left click and right click, and the up and down arrows. What I really like about this is that you have two different pointers. You have a trackpad, a small trackpad here, and then you have a pointer nub right here. Both of these control the mouse. This is pretty important because the trackpad is really good at controlling the mouse when you're on the desktop, and the nub is really good at controlling the mouse when you're in a Windows game. So that's what I found through practice. Both of these two have its uses, and yeah, they both work in their own unique settings. The trackpad doesn't work well in a game, but the nub works well. The nub doesn't work as well on the desktop. The trackpad works well. And the little arrow buttons being right beside the left click and the right click is pretty good as well. So let's get on with it. I'm going to show you guys some DOS games. And let's see. I have my Steam open here because this can actually run Steam. And we can fire up pretty typical DOS game like Biomenace here. This will boot up DOSBox. Alright. And let's select the episode. Alright, and in my other video I showed DOS games on this computer, but I did it within the command prompt, so we didn't have AdLib and Sound Blaster emulation. Now that we're in DOSBox, we have that, so it's pretty nice. Sound Blaster AdLib emulation right here, you guys can see it. Alright, so yeah, pretty easy to control. So this is a pretty typical 90s platformer game. Let me actually raise this a little bit so my hands are more comfortable. Alright, this is how I'd be gaming right here. Oh, no grenades. Anyway. Oh, it's still killing. Alright. Alright, so I'm not gonna do all this. Yeah, but this is a basic 90s platformer. You can do like Commander Keen, Biomenace, Hocus Pocus, all that. Works fine on this device. Like I said, the keyboard layout is pretty ideal. You can do my favorite, one of my favorite DOS games, Blake Stone, as well. It's for a little old school first person action. I'm done this one. Alright, anyways, that's Blake Stone. Yep, even for FPS games, this keyboard layout looks pretty good, and this is for DOS FPS games. Now let me show you guys what makes this a little bit different than the Open Pandora, because you know you can run all these DOS games in Open Pandora as well as DOSBox for Android if you have physical controls on your Android device. What makes it special is you can run Windows games up to, I think, about 2006 on this, because even though this device only has about 512 megabytes of RAM and Pentium M processor, that is actually enough to run most of the non-demanding games up to 2006. So let me show you guys a little bit what I'm talking about. So you can actually run Half-Life. I can actually run Half-Life on this device if I wanted to. It's Half-Life. This is a game from late 90s, early 2000s. Games should be able to run fine on this. So you can run SimCity, you can run Civilization, Age of Empires, Myst pretty easily. Even Freelancer. All those are pretty nice. Let's see. Let's load. Huh. So that. Alright, so I'm in Half-Life now, and I'm going to use the nub instead of the touchpad because it gives me more precise control in these Windows games. So it actually works pretty well.
I had a bunch of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to find my files. Just one of those days, I guess. They were having some problems down in the test chamber, too, but I think that's all straightened out. They told me to make sure you headed down there as soon as you got into your houses.
Alright, so Half-Life runs pretty smoothly.
Greetings! It's good to see you. not to let you through without your hazard suit on.
Alright.
This could be important on fluctuation.
Even the buttons like E and stuff to use items in these Windows games are pretty well located.
It's good to see you.
So yeah, that is Half-Life. Alright. And we can try even another similar game. Oh, we can do Quake 3 Arena. So Quake 3 Arena can run on this pretty easily. It's a game from 1999. Alright. Single player. Whatever, I'll just create a server. Alright, and we can run Quake here. And I can use the nub to control myself while I use the arrow keys. I can use WASD as well, since they're reasonably located, but the arrow keys are better located actually on this device. You can remap those as you like. Some of these games are really a map to WASD, but it's fine. Yeah. Oh. I guess the one thing is that it's hard to run and shoot at the same time. That's a little bit of a problem. Alright. Anyways. I can kill some bots. That is Quake 3. I can show you guys another deathmatch game, which is Unreal Tournament. And that can also run fine on this device. I've actually run Unreal Tournament 2004 on this, so this game can run games from 2003 as well. But this is the original Unreal Tournament. One thing is that this device does get pretty hot when it runs these games, so that's one little caveat for running these Windows games. Alright, Unreal Tournament. Oh, it's really fast. Okay. I can use this button on the side actually, which is a scroll. That button on the side acts like a mouse scroll, so I can use it to switch weapons here. It's pretty unique. Let's switch weapons. Alright. I think this runs a little bit faster on this machine than Quake 3. Yeah. Alright, anyways, was just to show you that Unreal Tournament works fine, and even 2004 Unreal Tournament 2004 works fine as well. I've ran it before. Alright, let's try Worms Arm again. That also works on this device. Alright. For some reason the cursor doesn't show up on the menu, but it does show up in the game, which is odd. Yeah, I'm not sure why the cursor's not showing up, but the game works fine. So yeah, it's Worms Arm again. Get my menu. Okay, I'm gonna launch a grenade. Right here. Okay, now I can do something. I can do a Dragon Ball here. There we go. Oh, I'll do a sheep here. Actually bazooka's better. Bazooka straight up. Oh, dead. Okay. Alright, that is Worms Arm again. Yeah, so other than the cursor not showing up on the menu, game works fine, runs fine. Let's do Does X Game of Year Edition. Does X is one of my favorite games as well.
Your appointment to FEMA should be...
Alright, so this is Does X.
Heads up, GC. Your brother Paul is on his way to meet
Looks
you at
fine.
the dock. The NSF is raiding the island and shots have been... Oh, I thought you were... Welcome to the Coalition, JC. Didn't think you'd... Yeah, what are we waiting? The NSF... Oh, remember the... I like to pick them. It's just... I get the... What's your take on the situation? How'd they get one of our...
No. Alright, anyways, I just want to show you guys that Does X runs fine and pretty playable with this machine. Alright, what's next? Alright, let's try Jazz Jackrabbit 2. This is also one of my favorite platformers ever. It's just the music, gameplay, everything's so good. Oh, Epic, why can't you release Jazz Jackrabbit again for modern systems? Re-release it, make a sequel. It looks like you just forgot about their old IPs, which is kind of sad. See, this intro is so good. Okay. Yeah, I love this game. It's basically like Sonic the Hedgehog for PC. It's just so polished, I love it. The first one was for DOS, but the second one is only for Windows. And it's multiplayer too. You can play over LAN. Bust a move. Anyways, Jazz Jackrabbit 2, so fun to play on this. Great game. The last game I want to show you guys is StarCraft, of course. This is one of the best games ever. One of the best RTS games ever, StarCraft. Runs fine on this computer. Let's do Brood War. Now, I'm not going to say that you can do like micro or macro controls very well on this machine, but anyways, it certainly is playable. Alright. And you can play other games like Warcraft or Diablo 2 on this. It runs fine, I've tried it. Anyways, yeah, StarCraft is playable. Not sure if it's competitive, but certainly it's playable here. Alright, and that's it. Showed you guys quite a few Windows games running on this. You can run a bunch of games since, I think up to early 2000s. Up to like 2006. Any games that require at least 512 megs of RAM. Even if it says 1 gig, actually, you can probably do it with 512 and run fine. And it has GMA 915, I think, the chipset, so it has like a GMA graphics chip on this, integrated, but it's fine for these old games. From any game from the 90s and early 2000s should be fine. So yeah, this is a Vulcan Flipstart. Pretty nice Windows gaming machine. Compared to the Open Pandora, these are actually really hard to find. Both the Open Pandora and this device was pretty hard to find, even on eBay. So I was pretty lucky to pick this one up. It was selling for like $2,000 when it came out in 2007, and then got dropped down to like $700 a year later, I think. Now it's like impossible to find this unless you're lucky on eBay like me. So I hope there can be more of these devices. I think Open Pandora is making a successor called the Dragon Box Pyra, so I can't wait until that one comes out. But again, that one's going to be Linux, so it can't play Windows games. So until we get another UMPC, this one is 5.6 inches, weighs 1.7 pounds, fits in your pocket, and well, fits in a pretty deep pocket. But anyways, for what it is, that the fact that it's a pocket-sized gaming computer that can run StarCraft, that's pretty good in its own right. I hope that other companies will make like smaller devices like this. Even like netbooks and like Windows tablets, they aren't small enough to fit in your pocket. Not like these UMPCs are. So I hope that someone will, you know, revive UMPCs and make these again, because it's fantastic. There's a Steam gaming device, retro Windows gaming device. These are pretty fantastic. And I hope someone will start making these kind of devices again. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, looking at all these old Windows games running on this micro-sized PC. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching. The other thing I want to mention is that the Vulcan Flipstart, since it runs full Windows, it basically runs a superset of those other emulator consoles like the Open Pandora, the GCW0, the Dingu, the NVIDIA Shield, which I also have. It basically runs a superset of what those devices can run. Since this is Windows, it can run any emulator as well. This can run Super Nintendo, this can run, you know, Nintendo DS, PlayStation, what have you. All the emulators that can run on Windows, this thing can also run, since it runs full-blown Windows. So yeah, to those people that might think that Linux emulation is arguably better than Windows emulation, but my point is that the Vulcan Flipstart can do more. It runs all the x86 programs, and it can run emulators as well. So I just want to close on that point, that this thing is pretty special, and I hope that manufacturers will make another device like this that runs full-blown Windows, and it can do everything from running DOS games to emulators to Windows games. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video.